Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Battle Inside podcast. My name is Chris America. I am your host, and this is a podcast about my journey, documenting my journey to a better life, a better place, a better coping, a better understanding. It is my journey to figure my ish out, my battle with mental health issues. So far, I know that I have depression, anxiety disorder, and ADHD, and this show started almost a month ago. Actually, today is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Yesterday was Mike Tyson Day, where everybody sounds like Mike Tyson when they say, "May the Force be with you." And tomorrow is May 6th, and May 6th is important because April 6th, 1 month ago yet tomorrow, which will probably be when you're listening to this today. So I'm probably going to drop this on Monday, but anyways. 1 month ago from tomorrow, or today if you're listening on May 6th, or whatever, I seriously contemplated suicide. If you listened to the episode, I Was in a Dark Place, that's episode number 1. Feel free to go back, scroll through the Scout Team Radio episodes. They'll all be listed, TBI episode 1, TBI episode 2, so on and so forth with the episode title. And I Was in a Dark Place, that was dropped on April 10th. Excuse me, I had a burp. So April 6th, I was contemplating suicide. You can hear all of that in episode 1, I Was in a Dark Place. And I didn't, obviously. I didn't commit suicide, or I didn't attempt suicide. I was just had serious ideations of it, to where I was counting how many pills I had and how many pills it would take. And it was not a good time. And so if you've been following this show, and you've been watching me week by week or days by days, it depended on how long I did between each show. This is actually episode 6, dropping on May 6th. So, you've seen my struggles, you've seen my pain, you've seen my depression, you've seen me at my lowest of lows. And that's kind of why I wanted to do the show now. I didn't want to wait until, I don't know, June, July, August, September, October, whenever it is when I get to that place of full and complete healing, because I don't think I could do it justice going back and telling you about it. I mean, look at me now. Like, I'm talking to you about what happened to me a month ago on April 6th when I'm contemplating suicide, and I don't think I can explain the gravity of the situation anymore, because I'm doing a lot better. 1 month later, I'm actually doing really good. And I say that hesitantly because I'm scared that I'm fooling myself, and that I'm really not doing as good as I say I am, or that I'm lying to myself. But I think that's the negativity talking. I think that's the worthlessness talking. I think that's the mental illness talking, trying to hold me back. But recently I've been doing really good. And so that's why I wanted to sort of do it in the now. So if you are, this is the first time you've heard of Chris America, if this is the first time you've heard my story about how I'm doing really well, and you don't grasp how desperate and deep of a hole I was in, go back and listen to episode 1. And then listen to episode 2, and then listen to episode 3. Episode 3, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this. Episode 3 was actually harder than episode 1. It's a lot harder for me to explain to people why and how I feel worthless. Oh, because I try so hard every day to come off as a very self-confident, happy-go-lucky person. And the suicide thing, to me, is a temporary thing. I can distance myself from it. I can hide from it. It's like I can say, yeah, 1 month ago I attempted or I contemplated suicide, and it was a month ago. So everything's cool now. But with the worthlessness thing, that's something that I'm actively working on now. It's going to be something that I'm actively working on a lot, and I've been doing really, really good with it. And some of the reason why I'm doing a lot better is because I am gaining a lot of um, a lot of my confidence back. And I say back because I have had confidence. It's not like I've been living my life feeling worthless every single day. There are moments where I do feel very, very confident in myself. And there are lots of things that I know that I'm good at and I don't have any self doubt. Most of my self doubt and self worth comes from a deeper place than just I'm a good looking guy and I am funny and I'm entertaining and I'm nice to people. It comes from a place of just having people like my ex, having people like my other exes, having friends, having my dad all see me at my best and at my worst and saying, yeah, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, get the hell away from me. Like, you aren't worth it to me. And some have said that. Some have said, you're not worth it to me, Chris. Like, straight up to my face. And that is where my worthlessness and ego goes because I feel like being funny and being nice and I don't know, being entertaining, like all of like being an attractive looking person, all of that to me is fickle. It means nothing. Like I don't want to mean something to somebody because of those things. Um, if I ever make it rich, I don't know if I'll ever be comfortable rich because I don't see value in money that way. Like I want to be rich because I want to have a more relaxing life. I want to have a decent home. I want to have, you know, be able to not live paycheck to paycheck. I want to be able to go travel whenever I want to. Like that's the reason why I want to be rich. I don't want to be rich because so I can buy lots of things and have people think I'm worth something because having lots of money is just it's disgusting to me. It's just stupid. Finding value and worth in somebody because of the money they have is just so dumb because to me money is fleeting. It can come and it can go in an instant so fast. And so it's just I never try to put value in myself with money. But I don't even know where I was going with that. Sorry, side tangent. But yeah, so my worthlessness comes at a more deeper core where I value my heart, I value my love, and I value my kindness, and I value the way that I care for somebody, and I value the way that I support somebody, and I value the way that I forgive people, and that I have a gracious heart, I value that I don't judge people. Try to see people the best in them. I try to see people in a good way, and I try to help them see that in themselves. I try to help them see that, you know, through my eyes. And so when that doesn't get valued, or when values of things like money and things like alcohol for my dad and things like depression for my dad, which I get it, maybe it wasn't his fault, but anyways, or just I don't know, when you just decide to pick something other than what I have to give, that's where I feel worthless because it's like, man, this is the best I have, and I feel like people should want that. I feel like people should want somebody in their life who is always going to support them, always going to be there for them, and never going to judge them no matter what. Like I'm serious. Like you have to do something so egregious for me to actually ever truly judge you because I understand in a lot of ways a lot of our mistakes and a lot of our mess ups and a lot of us that do things that are really messed up, I understand that they come usually from a place of pain and a place of heartache and a place of I don't know, a place of a void that they're looking to fill. And so because I understand that, I'm able to sort of just commiserate and empathize with that side of it rather than the wrongful thing that they did. If that I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just kind of the person who I am. And so I feel like that's a person that should be valued. I feel like that's a person who everybody should want in their life no matter what. And um so I'm working on building on my self-confidence of not needing that validated, of knowing that because I have such a good heart and because I have such patience with people And sometimes I don't. Sometimes my anxiety gets the best of me and I lose my patience. And when I lose it, it's bad. And I hate it because I do pride myself in being a patient person. I do pride myself in biting my tongue and thinking carefully about what I say and everything. So none of this was in my notes, by the way. I just kind of took off. I forgot to do my intro where I say that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. I'm not a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I'm not even a certified, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm not a certified crisis counselor or a certified, I keep wanting to say 911 operator, but that's not true, even though I was a 911 dispatcher back in another life. I'm not a certified suicide hotline person. I don't know anything, guys. That's not what this podcast is about. I'm not here to tell you what to do in your life or what six simple tricks will do it for you or whatever have you. I'm just here to basically just show the world what my mental illness looks like and what it sounds like and what it feels like. And hopefully you are able, if you are in mental illness, hopefully you are inspired by my openness and my candidness and how raw I am, and that you see it as something that you should do for your life. Because for me, this podcast was the most terrifying thing to do, but it's also been the most blessed thing to ever happen to me. So many people have reached out, family members and strangers. And this podcast, when I originally thought about doing it, I thought about doing it just for me. Like, I need to get myself out in the open, and behind the mic is the best way I can do it. I do not do well talking in front of people. I hate people seeing my facial expressions. I hate people seeing my pain. I hate people seeing it in my face because I'm still scared. I don't like to be vulnerable. And so it's easier for me to do this over the podcast where I can record it with nobody in the room, nobody looking at me, and I can just let it out and then hit send, and then everybody else can listen to me without interruption, without trying to chime in with advice or anything else. Like, they can just listen and take in what I'm saying and hopefully use it for themselves and use it for me. Like I said, so many people have reached out for support, and it's been a blessing. So many people have reached out to tell me that that I helped their lives. And I was once told that I will never be successful or never successful enough for them. And I was told by another friend this week that, honestly, Chris, if you've helped out one person with this podcast, you are more successful than most people can ever dream of. And I'm part of my self-confidence and self-worth that I'm trying to do is listening to others and believe in what they say as opposed to believe in what my negativity says. I know I'm not supposed to put stock or validation in people, but sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need somebody to say, Chris, you're brave, you're strong, you're doing an awesome thing, and I have been. The way that I've handled this situation has been brave and strong. And so with that said, I need to be clear. As you can imagine, being this open and being this honest about your life and mentioning other people in your life and how they affect your life can cause that person or persons, those people, to interpret it a different way. And so I want to be abundantly clear about my motives and about my reasonings and about my meaning behind this podcast and my intentions. I am not here to throw mud and dirt about my divorce. I am not here to ruin my ex-wife's life. I'm not here to make her out to look like a bad person. I'm not here to get you or anybody on my side. I'm not here to look for attention. I'm not here to do whatever it is that you think it is. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help myself in the best way that I can, in a healthy way. I'm here to help others in the best way that I can and in a healthy way. And when I talk on this mic and I'm sitting here thinking about what I'm going to say, especially when it comes to other people in my life, I have to sit there and think about a few things. And the things that I consider is, does this help me? Then the second thing is, does this help others? And then the third thing is do I have a negative motive behind it? And if the answer is yes, yes, no, then I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to be honest about it. And so if other people whom it's about feels like it's anything but that, then I have to say that that's on them. Because I didn't make these choices. And if other people in my life don't want me to talk about how things affect me and how things hurt my mental illness, or how I'm supposed to cope with what they've done through my coping of my mental illness and everything else, then I have to say that's on you. And you should try to become a better person to where you don't affect someone else in that way. And if you're somebody listening that knows that, you should be encouraging that person to be another person. Like I said, I'm not looking to get anyone on my side. I'm looking for people to be in my corner. And believe it or not, I'm not looking to get people away from my ex's side or my dad's side or whoever side that I talk about, because there's going to be other people that I talk about that have affected me in another way and how I'm dealing with it, so that I can help you with you and your relationships, that you can see, okay, that's how Chris did it. Maybe that'll work for me too. Or I like half of what Chris did, but maybe I can add in my own flair of how I like to do it. And, or even just the fact that I did something to stand up for myself, or something to open up about myself, even if that's all you need and you do it a completely different way, but all you took from it was just encouragement and I guess bravery, or just a resolve to do something in your life, then that's great. But I'm not looking for anybody to be on my side. I'm not looking to take anybody away from somebody else's side. What I want are people in my corner. And I want people in her corner. I want, if my dad was still alive, I would want someone in his corner. And what it means to be in somebody's corner is it's different from being on somebody's side. When you're on somebody's side, you're in the fight. You're a part of the fight. You are fighting with them. And that's not a healthy place to be, because our battles, unfortunately, have to be on our own. Our fights have to be on our own. In a lot of ways, me and my ex aren't fighting each other. Mostly, I'm fighting my demons and my issues, and she's fighting hers. And you can be in my corner and her corner, because in a lot of ways, my fight and her fight isn't against each other. It's against ourselves. It's against the demons that we battle. It's against our own health issues, our own mental illnesses, which I'm not going to sit here and say that my ex has mental health issues. I am not a doctor and I can't say that, but she's battling stuff. There's no doubt she's battling stuff. And anybody who knows her truly, and anybody who hears the story verbatim, if I were to get on this mic and tell it, there's no doubt anybody would sit there and say, like, yeah, Chris's ex needs help. She needs to talk to somebody about these things. And again, I'm not here to mention that. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm sorry. This is a really hard episode, because I'm going to go over a lot of things that happened between us and how I'm dealing with them and how I'm building my self-confidence in it. And my intentions, again, are only to focus on how I'm building my self-confidence and how I'm overcoming things that were said, things that were done. And what I want from you is for you to be in my corner. And what does it mean to be in my corner? Well, it's the same as what a boxing coach is or an MMA coach is in your corner. You're there to give out advice. You're there to encourage. You're there to inspire. If you see that I'm doing something wrong, you're there to correct it. You're there to say, Chris, yo, if you keep doing that, you're going to get hit with this left hook and you're going to get knocked out. So you need to stop doing that. If you're doing this, he's going to catch you in a chokehold and he's going to choke you out. Like, if you keep throwing this right haymaker of anger, then anger is going to come by, and before you know it, you're going to be in a triangle choke, and you're going to slowly choke yourself out. If you keep sliding to your left of regret's going to swing really hard and hit you in the chin, and you're going to be knocked out. That is what I'm looking for. And be honest, you can be in my corner for that, and you can be in my ex's corner doing the same exact thing. Encouraging, inspiring, but also letting them know, like, hey, if you keep doing this, this, and that, you're going to get knocked out. And if you keep doing that, that, and this, you're going to get choked out. So you need to make better decisions in there, or you're going to lose this fight. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the perfect analogy because, like I said, I don't think we're fighting each other. We're fighting our own battles, but at the same time, I have no analogy of how to tie this together, but at the same time, my battle is affecting her, and her battle is affecting me. And I wish her and I can come together, not back into the relationship sense, but as friends, as people who love and care about each other for the last 3 years. I wish her and I could come to an agreement of peace and trust and love, and I wish we could fight our battles together, and not to where our fight is affecting each other's fight. That would be the dream, right? For me personally, if I could have her support and friendship and love again, to where I can lean on her and she knows she has mine. I've sent it to her several times to let her know that even after everything she's done to me, I'm still here for you as a person. Not as a lover, not as a husband, not as a let's get back together sense, but as a, look, I cared about you for 3 years, and I've loved you for 3 years, and that doesn't turn off for me. And there's nothing you can do to me, like outside of something totally egregious against my son or somebody else, that's going to stop that. But like I said, she knows that. I've made that very clear to her, that I'm here for her and that I want to see her become a better person and I want to see her grow. And I want to be a part of her life. I want to be a part of her son's life. I saw her son twice this week. Once I was picking up my son from aftercare, and he lit up like a Christmas tree. It melted my heart so much. I was so glad to see that he missed me and that he still loves me. And I gave him the biggest hug, and I told him I missed him. And so I saw him again on Friday night. They had their karate belt promotions, and he lit up again when I saw him, and it was awesome. I told him I was proud of him. I told him how I loved him, and I told him that I missed him. And if not for anything, I want her to call a truce and try to work out our differences so that way I can be a part of her kid's life, so that I don't have to miss him, so that I don't have to not be able to see him, because I do miss him a lot. I miss throwing the football with him. I miss playing Madden with him. I miss him telling me that I'm a great cook, that I make the best steaks. Sorry. I just miss that kid because I love him. And yeah. So I'm getting off track. Like I've yet to get back on my notes. So today I really wanted to focus on anger and regrets. And it's going to be a hard episode to navigate because, like I said, I am not here to throw dirt. I am not here to get anybody on my side. I want people in my corner, and I want people in her corner. I want people who will love her enough to point out her mistakes, love her enough to say, you need to do this better. This isn't right what you're doing. So try better and get some help. But obviously I can't do anything about that. That's something that I need to accept. So I'm going to work on myself, and I'm going to focus on the people who are in my corner. And there are those who are in my corner from her friends. There are people in my corner from my family and from my friends. And there are lots of fans of this show who have reached out to me and have shown me that they're in my corner too. And I'm appreciative of every single one. One of you sent me music for music therapy, and it was crazy because the song they sent me hit me right to the core. It was basically, I sent them a message back like, this person needs to get out of my life and get out of my mind, because the song hit too close to home. And so I'm appreciative of you guys for everything. So with that said, I'm going to talk about some of the things that make me angry, and I'm going to try to do it in a way that, number one, that my anger doesn't get the best of me in this episode, because I don't want to say anything that isn't any of those three things. It's not helpful to me, that's not helpful to you, and is not going to tear down somebody else. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to give you an update as to what's been going on in my life. So Monday is when I dropped my last episode. I went kayaking that day. Had a great time, great talk with a friend. Just spent, gosh, I guess we were out there for over 8 hours. I got burnt to a crisp. The Florida sun is out and banging, and it is summer here in Orlando, Florida. So yeah, I got burnt to a crisp. I lost my t-shirt. It was actually one of my American t-shirts that I have posted as my Chris America shirts. Kind of sad that was lost. Don't know where it went. I had it laid out on the back of my kayak to dry off, and I'm sure a twig or a branch or something grabbed onto it when I wasn't looking and took it away. But yeah, so I did that, and that was hard. So something that's been hard for me is, her and I had so many good memories. I've said multiple times, there's things about our relationship that were unhealthy, but overall, if I were to give our relationship a grade, it would be a B+. I say B+ because of all of the underlying issues that her and I never took care of. If we would have taken care of it, it would have been an A++ relationship. No doubt in my mind, and I don't care what anybody tells me. When I made the Facebook post saying that we were split, everybody in our lives were completely shocked. And it wasn't because we were faking it. Like, it was real. It was real. And so we have so many great memories. We really do. And now these great memories have turned into painful ones, and I hate it. My main goal through this is I'm trying to find healing through peace. And I'm trying to find healing through acceptance rather than healing through numbing it with alcohol or replacing her with another girl or just shoving it down, becoming angry and letting my anger shove it all the way down to where I become indignant to it. I don't want that anymore. That's how I've dealt with everything. And that's part of one of my regrets. I want to come to this with peace. And so kayaking was hard because it brought me back to our trip to Michigan that we went on this past September. Yep, 6 short months ago, 7 months ago, however long it was. Her and I took the boys up to Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, and where we were staying it was in cabins, and there were kayaks. And the 4 of us just went out kayaking. We were teaching the boys how to kayak. It was a little frustrating, but it was fun at the same time. Anybody knows that's tried to teach a kid something and they're not getting it. It's a little frustrating, but you get through it, and they finally figure it out for the most part, and you have fun. It was a good time. The lake was gorgeous. The weather was gorgeous, coming from triple-digit heat indexes with 80% humidity and everything. Like, the 60-degree cloudless day, dry air was perfect. It was one of the happiest moments of my life, being out there with them. And so when I went kayaking this past Monday, I had flashbacks to the last time I kayaked, which was with them. And it was painful, and it put me down. And I'm already seeing progress because I just talked to you about that story in detail, and I felt at peace about it. I felt happy. It was a good time. It was a really good time. And guys, I'm like smiling right now because I did it. I conquered it. That was a good memory, and I don't feel any pain towards it. Um, it was a good memory, and I can cherish it now forever, and I'm glad. So, looks like I did check one, conquer the painful memory of kayaking, and hopefully that'll help me conquer other painful memories. So I got burnt to hell. Whole body was just red. I haven't been that burnt in a long time. Usually I don't burn that bad. And then Wednesday, we're gonna get into the anger part. Wednesday, I'm going about my day, and the ex sends me a message saying something to the sort of, I can't believe you are airing out our dirty laundry on the air or on the podcast. Um, I can't believe you told everybody we got married. That's my business to tell. And so let me explain that. I had mentioned last episode that we had gotten married, and the marriage was kind of in secret. What we wanted to do was we both knew we wanted to be married. We wanted to, um, we loved each other, and we were committed to each other, and we both knew that we were going to spend the rest of our lives with each other. Like, so much so that I told her when we first met that when Landon turns 18 or when he's off to college and he doesn't need dad anymore all the time, that I want to move out of Florida and I most likely want to move to Charlotte. And so she would tell people all the time that in 2027, we're moving to Charlotte. Like, so that's how much in love with each other. Like, this was it for both of us. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, there's no doubt in her mind that we're spending the rest of our lives together. And so we knew that, and we knew we wanted to get married, but we didn't have the time or the money to do the marriage, and we wanted to have the benefits that come with marriage. So, like, I could go on her insurance, and I could stop paying for insurance for myself and save $300 a month, or however much it was, and then we can have all these different, all the different benefits of being married. So we went down to the courthouse on January 9th, and we got married. And we decided that we kind of wanted to keep it a secret, not because we were hiding or ashamed, I don't think, but because I know I wanted the real wedding. I wanted to do it the right way. I felt uncomfortable doing it the courthouse way, but I also didn't want to say, "Hey, we got married at the courthouse, and now here's a real wedding. So we're really just asking you to bring us gifts." I don't know. It was weird. It was a red flag. Maybe I should have been better, but it's what we did. It's what we chose to do. And so we were married and nobody knew really. And so now she's mad at me for airing out our dirty laundry, for telling the world that we got married. Like, so I'd been working on my self-confidence lately, and that really angered me. It really angered me that she's going to tell me that us getting married is dirty laundry. And then it angered me because I'm not going to tell you everything that happened. But I can tell you this with certainty and without any doubt in my mind. And she knows it. Her friends who know the real story know it. And everybody in my life who knows the real story knows it. If I wanted to air out dirty laundry, I have plenty of dirty laundry to air. But I'm not going to, because that's not what this podcast is about. And to me, us getting married, in secret, not in secret, people knowing, not knowing, to me, that's not dirty laundry. To me, that's my life. And I told her that if she didn't want people to know that we got married, maybe she should have not married me. And that led to me standing up to myself to her for the very first time. And I told her off in so many different ways. And I told her in so many different ways. I called her selfish. At a certain point, I called her narcissistic. I never once called her, like, anything derogatory. I basically just told her what needed to be said in a very harsh and angry tone. And it felt good. at the time to do that. It made me feel very confident in myself. I was finally standing up to myself. I was finally not giving her any more excuses. I was finally not apologizing for how I felt, and just, here it is. This is how you hurt me. But it was in a way that was out of anger, so it wasn't exactly tactfully done. But I have a right to be angry, and I have a right to be hurt. And I have a right to come onto this podcast and explain to the world how I am hurting. And I have the right to come onto this podcast and explain to me, or explain to you, how her decisions affected me. And I'm not going to no longer let her dictate, or let anybody else dictate how I'm going to handle what I think I need to do to get better. And so she had asked me after that long conversation, she said she was filing for divorce, and she asked me if I could stop talking about her on the podcast, and her personal life on the podcast. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go and air your dirty laundry, but I'm also not going to not talk about you. If I feel like I need to say something about what you did to me and how it affected me in a negative way or whatever, then I'm going to do it, because it's my right to do it. You hurt me, and I have a right to feel that pain, and I have a right to feel that grief, and I have a right to, in a healthy way, handle that grief whatever way I see fit. And so I told her that. And the night went on, and I started not feeling good about myself. I started feeling unsatisfied. And I knew that anger that I had used that day, while it was good at the time, it's not the way I needed to leave it off. It's not the way that's going to get me peace. And so I took a different approach. And later that night, 10:04 p.m., I sent her this because I needed peace. I don't want to have anger. I don't want to deal with this with anger. I want to deal with this with peace and love and care. And so I sent her this message. I said, look, I really hope you're being honest and that you're getting help. I really hope you're sorry for what you did to me and regret not getting help sooner. Let's end this peacefully, but not now. I'm still really angry with you, and I'm never going to get the apology I need, so I'm coming to peace with that without it. Nothing about our lives is hindered by us being married. Give this 1 month. June 1st, we can meet and sign papers, get a month of counseling for yourself and therapy and whatever else you need, and I'll do the same. Hopefully in 1 month, we will both have healed and understand more about ourselves and how bad we hurt each other throughout the last 3 years. And we can do this the right way, not rushed, not out of anger or resentment, not out of anything but peace and respect for each other. You said with time and healing, you can maybe come to a place where you can truly talk to me genuinely about all that happened between us. I pray every day that I get you back in my life in some capacity, because I really do care about you as a person. So please consider 1 month. And I forgot to mention this. So as I'm feeling like a badass after I told her off, I went to the gym and I killed a workout. And then after that, I got home and I was like, I'm still feeling like a badass. And another painful memory for me to conquer is running. She's an avid runner. That's what she does. Her whole life revolves around running. And me being the supportive and caring boyfriend/husband that I am, I did a lot of that with her. I ran in high school. I'm good at running. As you'll see here, I'm really good at running. I just never really liked to do it. And so I do want to do it. It's healthy. It makes me feel good about myself. So I do want to get back into running, but it was another painful memory. It was a painful memory about how I've run marathons and half marathons, and I've been on ultra team races where it's her and I, 50 miles, running it together as a team, and I did that for her. And we have pictures of us kissing between each loop and each finish line, and it was great, but now it's just another painful memory. So I ran, and I ran really fast, and I ran a 5:57 mile, and so I sent her a picture of it, and I said, also, this happened, and I'm pretty effing proud of myself. I want you in my life so you can be proud of me too. And so I decided I needed to say more the next morning. And I needed to, the day before, I had said so much in anger and spite. And that's not a way to resolve things. It's not a way for me to resolve things. And I know for me, in order to get over my anger, I at least need to make an attempt at peace. And so that way I can find peace within myself knowing that I tried. And so I sent her this message. I said, I want to respectfully and peacefully, as you read what I'm about to write, to text with an open heart and with the person who has loved me for the last 3 years. Please read this as if the last month didn't happen and whatever bad feelings you have towards me. I want a truce. The last month of being angry and hurt and resentful towards you has been hell for me, and I want a truce. I want to be at peace with you. Please help me get there. Please make this effort for me to help me get there. I feel like I do deserve to be heard by you. I do feel like I deserve to have my feelings validated by you. And I do feel like I deserve to have my grievances considered by you, and that I deserve you, at the very least, see it from my perspective and understand why I feel the way that I feel. So please, please, please read the next text with the person I know who loves me and cares about me as a person. And so I sent her, please take a month to consider the following and then come back to my life and have an open, honest discussion with me in person, whether that's at a Starbucks or home or even with a marriage counselor. I'm going to skip over some of these because some of these I'm airing out the dirty laundry and how it made me feel, and I'm not going to read that. And so I'll skip to this one. You really need to dig deeper as to why you married me and as to why you changed your mind so quickly. You said yesterday people change and you're sorry. People don't change that fast. People don't go from being completely in love to zero feelings for that person whatsoever. People don't go from happily crying over your husband's Facebook post about how much in love he is with you and how proud he is of you to what you became after all this went down. This is not a normal thing. There is a grieving process with this. And maybe you've done it and not shown me, but I don't think you're being honest with yourself if you say it's just that you simply changed. I hope you spend the next month with a therapist discussing why you quickly switched the flip like you did, and I want a sincere apology for making me feel like I don't matter. I'll skip over the next one. It just basically says that the way she treated me afterwards was not right. And I don't want to make her look like a complete and utter bitch. But just know that I'll finish with how I said it. I didn't deserve that. I loved you through that. I was patient with you, and I tried my best to not let it negatively affect me. I deserve a sincere apology for the way you treated me. Then I went on to say this. Landon, little America, deserves a sincere apology. Again, everything you did is not normal, and Landon doesn't magically feel better with a simple, I changed and I'm sorry. You hurt and crushed his feelings. You should have fought for him. You should have fought to try to see if we could work this out. That should have happened. That was the right thing to do. That was the healthy thing to do. What you did wasn't right. What you did wasn't the right thing to do. None of it. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good for the kids, and it wasn't good for me and you. Yes, you may be happy, but happiness doesn't equal good or right or healthy decisions. Happiness doesn't mean you didn't make a huge mistake or mistakes. We aren't meant to be together, I get that. Not anymore. Not after everything that has happened. But healthy and right was getting help and trying for the boys. They deserve that. Healthy and right would have been us taking a break to get help for ourselves and counseling together to find out what is truly right for us. And yes, maybe we would have come to the same ending point, but at least we would have gotten there in a healthier, happier, and more peaceful place, or a more peaceful way. Then I said we can still get there in a happier, healthier, and more peaceful way, but it's only going to happen if you decide to put in the work for it. I was really good to you. I am the best man you have ever been with. No one has ever loved you or treated you better than I have. And I hope you will think about that and think about who I am as a person and respect me enough and cherish me enough to want to make this right with us, to mend this friendship. I'm going to talk about this because I feel like you need to understand why I got to the feeling of worthlessness. And it's a part of one of the things I'm angry about. All of these things are things that I was angry about, and now I'm asking for peace from her with them. I didn't deserve to be made to feel worthless or less than. You didn't settle for me. Anyone who is with me isn't settling. I have a big heart, a lot of love to give, a lot of support, and I can love that person unconditionally. There's nothing more anyone can ask for from a fulfilling relationship than everything I gave you. College degrees and money and whatever other things you thought of when you said I settled for you is completely wrong, and your priorities are completely out of whack in life if that's how you think. I deserve an apology that you told me you settled, because I know and you know you didn't. I'm a great guy, and I will become an even better guy, and you or anyone else will be lucky to have me. Then I said, please again, take your time, be patient, and consider all of these things. Go see a therapist if you aren't already, and work on these things I mentioned, and give me a month to do the same, and let's come back and go from there on the divorce and everything else. And I finished off with this. I love you. I'm always going to love you. Even all the things I think about you and all the hurt and pain you caused me, I still love you. I still believe in you. I still believe you can be the amazing woman I know you are. Please don't take that for granted. There aren't many people you will find that will take all of your negative things that you know you are and still come out telling you that they love you and want you in your life. I'm a special and unique person, and you will be lucky to have me in your life. And you should want to make things right with me because of how good I am as a person and how good I've been to you. So I read all that to kind of show you how I came to peace. I didn't get a response. I wasn't expecting a response, and I really didn't need a response. I did that all for myself. I needed to let go of my anger, and again, the best way that I could let go of my anger is to come to a place of peace and kindness and love, and also a place of self-confidence to tell her those things. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here as to where to go next. Part of the way that I've built up my self-confidence was through that. I've figured out that I can't just be the Stuart Smalley or whatever his name was from SNL and just look in a mirror and tell me I'm handsome and all this other stuff. I not only need to tell myself I have worth and value, but I also need to demand it from others. And demand it from those who hurt me. And then if they don't give it to me, then I'm free of it because I asked for it peacefully and in a kind manner and in a respectful manner. And if they don't want to give me that respect and that kindness in return, then it's on them. It shows what kind of person they are. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory ways towards her. It's just to everybody else. I can say this. With every single thing that has happened to me, the worst thing that I did, the worst decision that I made was contemplating suicide. That was the most unhealthy thing I've done throughout this entire process. But the rest of the way, I will say with self-confidence and self-worth that I have handled this whole entire situation better than anybody can ask for. And anybody who has seen the way that I've handled this, anybody who knows exactly what she did to me and see how I handled it will tell you the same, that, damn it, Chris America is a stand-up guy, and he's got his head on his shoulders. One of the things that she told me as to why she was leaving, and she did tell me why she was leaving, but it was all just excuses to deflect the responsibility and the shame and the wrongful things that she did to me and put it on me. But one of the things that she said that really made me feel worthless was that I don't have a college degree, I don't have drive, I don't have motivation. And when I told her that even before all this happened, I was starting to get some help. I already had an appointment for a therapist, and I was already trying to make myself a better person. I was already trying to figure out why I don't have drive, why I don't have motivation, why I sit around all day and play video games on my day off instead of cleaning, doing responsibilities. I was already working on that, and I told her when she told me these things that I was working on that, and she said, Chris, you're not worth it. I don't have time to wait a year, 6 months. I don't have time to wait a month. And she told me that. And I'm telling you this because it broke me down to the lowest point, and it made me feel worthless. It made me feel like I wasn't worth waiting for to get better. But I can now say in self-confidence and with peace that throughout this entire process, I have shown so much drive, so much motivation, and I have bettered myself than any single person who's ever gone to college to get a college degree. And the reason why I say it like that is because her whole thing is people with college degrees showed that they're better people because they went to college to better themselves. And so I will say with absolute confidence that what I have done in the last month and what I'm going to continue to do for the rest of my life is bettering myself, not through a college degree, but bettering myself as a person, bettering my heart, bettering my mind, and bettering how I treat people and how I want people to treat me. And I'm getting there. The person you met 1 month ago who was in a dark place is slowly fading away. And you're starting to see a new, confident, self-loving, and at peace person. And I'm not all the way there yet. There are times when I'm talking and I'm getting angry. I'm not all the way there yet. Like when I talk about her telling me that I don't make enough money and she needs somebody that has more drive and she needs somebody that has more money and has a business and all these other things, those things don't affect me anymore. I think about her saying them and I know that that's on her. That's her self-value. That's her self-worth. Those are her values. They're not mine. And I have the confidence now and the self-love enough now to know that I don't need that person in my life. I don't need somebody who's going to disrespect me like that. I don't need somebody who's going to see all that I have to give and offer them in life and tell me that it's not good enough. Because I am good enough. And I saw something today that really inspired me and showed me where I was at. It says, at the end of the day, I'm a good man. I'm not perfect by any means, but my intentions are good, my heart is pure, and I love hard with everything I've got, and because of those things, I'm worth it. I always have been, and I always will be. I can walk away from this relationship and from this experience with peace because I know every step of the way I did what I could to do right by her and do right by myself and do right by others. All the things that I have done have been pure, with a pure heart and pure intentions. I've messed up along the way. I said some things on that Wednesday that maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I said it a little too harshly. Maybe I tried to push a point a little too hard to just twist the knife. But I'm human. And if anybody knows exactly what happened to me, they would say that I have the right to do way, way worse. But I don't want to live that life. I talked to somebody yesterday who's going through a divorce, and their ex-husband is doing all that they can to make their life miserable. And I sit there and I think about how sad it is to be that person. How miserable of life that is to your whole life is dedicated to anger and resentment and trying to ruin that other person's life. And I don't want that for myself. That sounds like an awful life to me. For me, I want peace. And I want love. I want peace with my ex. I want to be at peace with her. And I want her to live the best version that she can be. And that's why I do worry about her getting help. And that's why I do worry about what her choices are and how they're affecting her life and her son's life. And I can't help it. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to focus on me. I'm trying to focus on myself. But at the end of the day, I'm still that guy who cares about her, and I'm always going to care about her. I said in that end that I love you and I'm always going to love you. And I don't want people to take that as I'm not moving on and I'm always going to want to be with her. That's not what I mean. For me love is one thing. There's only one kind of love. People say that there's love for a child, love for a spouse, love for a brother, love for a mom and dad. To me there's one kind of love. Love is this strong, unshakable, unbreakable bond that you have for somebody. And it is something that is so strong that it can't be broken by mistakes. It can't be broken by anger. It can't be broken by betrayal. It's just something that exists. It's strong. And there's different emotions associated with love. Like the emotions you have for your wife are different from the emotions you have for your child, but the love is still strong. Now you might love somebody a little bit more. Like I love my son more than anybody in the world. And when it comes to like the whole Cliff scenario, my son or somebody else, it's always going to be my son. My love for my son is more than my love for somebody else. But again, like the emotions are different. And I will be there for her the same way that I'll always be there for my son, the same way that I always be there for my mom or anybody else. Like that's just who I am. That's who I decided to be a long time ago, is I want to live my life in peace and in love. And I feel like hopefully, even with present situation happening, that will pay off for me in the long run. That will pay dividends in my life, and I will be able to live a full, fulfilled, happy life. Living life in anger and frustration and resentment, it's not my life. It's just not. It's not what I want. I want peace. I want to think about her and cherish the memories. I wish she was in my life. I wish she would give me the respect that I deserve. I wish she would give me the apology I deserve. I wish she would treat me like a human being again, like somebody who's treated her the way that I treated her. Because, you know what? I'm going to brag on myself for a little bit. It was awesome. I was really good to her. Every woman deserves to be treated the way that I treated her. I wasn't perfect, and I meant to make this episode about anger and regrets, but we're coming up on an hour, so we'll have to do regrets some other time. But I was good to her, and because of that, and because of the way I've handled because of the way I handled this, I deserve her to come to me and say, "Chris, I'm sorry," without any excuses, and I deserve all of that. But I know I'm probably not going to get that. And I'm coming to peace with it, and I'm finally accepting it. Acceptance is the key to healing. And I'm no longer struggling with acceptance, because with self-confidence, you gain the self-confidence to gain acceptance. And that's how I finally figured out how to get acceptance, is I had to build up my confidence first and acceptance second. Because now that I'm getting more self-confident, I'm gaining more peace. And now that I'm gaining more peace, I'm able to gain acceptance. So I'm always awkward with how to end an episode. So I'll start with this. I'm going to give you a minor update now that that's all said and done. One that I kind of left off the board. I have made mentions about my childhood and how I was sexually abused as a child. And one day, I'm going to hold an episode about that. And it's going to be intense. It's going to be raw. And it's going to be things that, out of all of the things that have happened to me in my life, I've told you I'm not very open, but I've been open to certain people and in certain relationships. Like the whole thing with my dad, it's not the first time I've ever truly opened up like that before. I've done that before. With the exes and everything, I've opened up to people about that before. But when it comes to my abuse as a child, the sexual abuse, I've mentioned it to people, especially every relationship I've been in. They've known. But I have never once gone anywhere deeper with anybody with it other than just I was sexually abused as a child. And so I'm going to work on it with my EMDR therapy, and there's something else in the works right now of another type of therapy that I'm going to do. And once all of that is done, I know I said I'm going to live it out as it goes on, but with this, there's too many moving parts. This is a lot bigger than just me. And when I explain to you guys everything that went into it, you'll understand what I mean, but this is not just my thing. So I'll leave it at that. So, but there's good news is things are in motion and things are in the works to make that better, to make that right, and to find healing in there. So I'm excited about it. And once I get all the ducks in a row and everything and the whole situation's fine, I'm going to have an episode to talk about it because I feel like this is just another topic on top of mental illness that needs to be discussed, and that's abuse as a child and how to deal with it, how to cope with it. And a lot of people, I don't know the studies or the numbers or anything like that, but I would say a lot of people with mental illnesses also have a history of abuse of some sort. With that said, let me tell you something to those who are listening and they've never committed suicide or attempted suicide or contemplated suicide, and they think, okay, well, that's not me, so I don't need help. I know several people now, and I see it more now than I did before, and I saw it in myself. You don't need to be suicidal to get help. You really don't. You just need to be depressed. You just need to have high anxiety. You just need to have something that isn't right and is holding you back in your life. I would say mental illness kills a whole lot of relationships. I'm not going to say it's the reason why her and I didn't work out, but I know that the fact that her and I didn't get help for our own issues led to this. I can't say for certain that if her and I got help and got marriage counseling, if we got our own individual help and got our own issues taken care of and we got marriage counseling to tell us how to handle each other's issues in a healthy way, I believe, I don't know, I believe that we probably would still be together, but we're not. We didn't do that. So don't be that person. Don't let your relationship fail because you didn't get help. Don't let yourself lose your job because you didn't get help. Don't let you not get that promotion because you didn't get help. Mental illness isn't just bad when you're trying to commit suicide or attempt suicide. Mental illness is bad when it does hold you back, when it keeps you from having a healthy relationship, when it keeps you from being a good worker, when it keeps you from succeeding in life. Because that's a lot of the ways that my mental health was doing to me without me realizing it. And so don't wait until you're suicidal. You may never be suicidal. Don't wait like I did to get help. Because I'm 35, and I know this has been an issue for me since I was 19. And so that is 16 years too long to not do anything about it. But I'm excited that I'm doing something about it now. I'm excited for my future. My future is bright, and I'm ready to go. But let me also give you some National Suicide Hotline stuff. If you are feeling suicidal and you need to reach out for help, go to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That's 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. It's also suicidepreventionlifeline.org. You can go to that website, or let me pull up the other websites. I'm never prepared, guys. God. You'd think by episode 6 I'd be prepared, but nope. All right, you can go to suicide.org. If you're not in the United States, you're listening in Canada or Argentina or Botswana or Croatia or Cyprus or Hong Kong. If you're listening in any of those places, go to suicide.org. That'll give you all of those countries' suicide hotline numbers. Or you can go to the crisis text line, crisistextline.org, and text, as it's pulling up, come on, text home to 741-741. Listen, if you're feeling suicidal right now, I want you to listen to me. Go through all of my episodes, and you will see I have come a long way. I am excited about this episode. I am excited about what's going on in my life. I'm excited for my future for the first time in a very long time. And it came with a lot of hard work, a lot of heartache, but it also came with the refusal to take easy way outs like drinking, fulfilling it with sex and other people, or drugs, or anything else. Do it the healthy way, but get help first. If you're contemplating suicide, reach out to somebody and say, I need help. That's all it takes. I've been there multiple times in my life, and all it really takes is just somebody to just listen to you, to get those suicidal thoughts from your brain to somebody else's. And there's many ways that you can do that. I'm here to listen to you. You can get me at @TheChrisAmerica, at @TheChrisAmerica on Twitter. I've also started an Instagram page that I'm going to start working on a lot more. That's at @TheChrisAmerica there. And yeah, so get help. Find help. Please, 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 please. Don't make a permanent decision for a temporary problem. I love you guys. There's a lot to live for, I promise. The world is beautiful when you're outside of your pain. When you get outside the other side, you will see that the world is the beautiful place. There are a lot of beautiful people, and there's a lot of beautiful things going on. So get help. Get yourself right, because that's what I'm doing. I'm getting help. I'm getting the help that I need. I'm becoming a better man. I'm becoming a better person. I'm using this podcast to help save other people's lives, to inspire you, to inspire myself, and I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Please, please, please help me grow this thing. I can't do this without you. I want this thing to become huge. I want to make a positive impact in the world, and I can't do it without you, my fans. So please help me out. Reach out to me. I think I'm going to come up with a email address for this too, so that people can reach out to me there if you don't have Twitter. Anyways, have a good rest of your week. Look forward to talking to you on the next episode of the Battle Inside podcast. Peace.